Good afternoon. How are you? I hope you all are in the pink of your health, enjoying life, right? So, myself Rajesh Dadich, your mentor in English grammar. And today we are going to start one more interesting topic, and that is phrases and clauses. You know, phrases and clauses, this topic is an integral part of English grammar. Right, without this topic, English grammar cannot be said as a complete topic, right? So, it plays very important role, it plays pivotal role in English grammar. So, when we are going to learn it, phrases and clauses, we are supposed to learn both the terms, phrases and clauses separately, right? So, have a look. First of all, we are going to discuss the term phrase. What is a phrase? Students, a phrase is just a group of words, right? A phrase is just a group of words. A phrase is just a collection of words, right? But it does not make any sense. It does not make any complete sense. Or in other words, we can say a phrase is just a part of the whole sentence, right? It does not have its own subject, it does not have its own verb or own object, right? So, any group of words which has no complete sense of its own and is a part of the whole sentence is known as a phrase. Point number one. Point number two, a phrase does not, generally a phrase does not begin with a capital letter and ends with any full stop, question mark or sign of exclamation together. Means a phrase may begin with a capital letter but cannot end with full stop, question mark or sign of exclamation. Or if the phrase ends with full stop, question mark or sign of exclamation, it cannot begin with a capital letter, because these both properties are found in a sentence, not a phrase, right? So, to make it easier, we can say that a phrase is the part of a sentence, and there can be so many phrases in a sentence, right? A sentence has so many phrases, but a phrase has no sentence, because a phrase is just a part of sentence. Okay, students, I hope you have got it, right? So now look, the sentence is man with few friends means almost none. Man with few friends is like a beast or a god. You can see, have a look. This group of words, man with few friends, no doubt this is a group of words, right? But does it have any complete sense? Does it express any complete sense? Of course not. No doubt this is a group of words, this is a collection of words, but it does not express any complete sense. It is a part of the whole sentence, or we may say it is helpful in making this whole group of words meaningful, but in itself it is not complete, right? So, it has got one property of sentence, and that it begins with a capital letter, but it does not end with any full stop, question mark or sign of exclamation. You can see, right? So, man with few friends, this is not complete, but it is helpful to make the remaining group of words as a sentence, as a complete meaningful sentence, right? So, we can say man with few friends is like a beast or a god. This is a sentence, and man with few friends is just a part of this whole sentence. Therefore, we can very easily we can call it a phrase. I hope the term phrase must be clear in your mind, right? Next, there are so many kinds of a phrase. Means this group of words can have noun, can have verb, can have adverb, can have adjective, can have preposition. So, look here, A phrase is a group of words that behaves like a part of speech, right? You know part. So many parts of speech are there. Noun, pronoun, verb, adverb, adjective, preposition, conjunction, interjection, right? So we can say a phrase is just a group of words that behaves like a part of speech. Part of speech means noun phrase, verb phrase, prepositional phrase, adverb phrase and adjective phrase. Okay students? But in senior classes you will come to know that as many parts of speech are there, as many kinds of phrases are there. But in your curriculum this is enough, that basically we can say in short that basically there are 5 kinds of phrases, right? So we can say behaves like a part of speech and therefore acts accordingly, acts like a noun, like a verb, like an adverb, like an adjective or like a prepositional group of words, right? So have a look. If we say in any sentence, if we find the boy on the bus, what do you find? The boy. Boy is a noun, right students? Boy is a noun. Bus is a noun, but does it have any verb? No, it doesn't have any verb. So we can say a phrase may have either a subject or a verb, or we may say or a predicate, right? But a phrase can never have subject as well as predicate, right? So the boy on the bus, this group of words makes a complete sense? Of course not. So this is not a sentence but a phrase only, right? Next, because it stresses on the noun, the boy. Next, a verb phrase will be running. Don't you think this group of words is the group of verbs, be it helping verb or main verb, but that is a verb, right? And you know, verb is found in the predicate. Verb is just a part of a predicate, right? So suppose I say he goes to school. So he is a subject and goes to school, the whole remaining part after the subject he is known as predicate. So in short, in a very easy way we can understand that a phrase may have subject or predicate but not both, because subject plus predicate is equal to sentence, right? Next, prepositional phrase. You can see in the kitchen. In, this is the preposition, so we can say it stresses where? In the kitchen. Where? In the kitchen, right? So this is a prepositional phrase. Next, an adverb phrase means very quickly. It stresses on the manner. You know, adverbs of place, adverbs of time, adverbs of manner, right? So this is one of the adverbs and that is adverb of manner, so ending with ly. So it stresses on the adverb, so we can say this is a group of words that is working, that is functioning like an adverb. So we can say this is an adverb phrase, right? Next, an adjective phrase. What is an adjective phrase? Simply any group of words that functions like an adjective. You can say with a brilliant idea. What kind of idea? Brilliant idea. So it stresses on the kind of idea and that is brilliant. So we can say this is an adjective phrase. So dear students, I hope you all must have got the meaning, the kinds of the term phrase, right? So in this way, now phrase term is complete. Now we are going to switch to the next term and that is clauses, right? So dear students, now is the right time to get the proper meaning and explanations of the topic of the term clauses. What is a clause? What are clauses? What is a clause? It means there is one clause. What are clauses? It means there may be many clauses in a sentence, right? students? So have a look. First of all, we are going to get the meaning of the term clause. Actually, what a clause is, right? So a clause is a group of words, right? In phrase also we learned that a phrase is also a group of words. A clause is also a group of words, but still difference is there. What? A clause is a group of words that does have a subject and a predicate. That does have means it is necessary, means a group of words should have, must have both the subject and the predicate to make it a clause, right? But a phrase cannot have both the subject and the predicate, means either of them may be present in the phrase, but they both cannot be present in a phrase. So we can say a phrase can have either a subject or a predicate, but a clause must have a subject and a predicate, right? So I hope you must have got the difference between a phrase and a clause, right? So look here, you can say any sentence can be a clause. For example, if I say Rahul likes mathematics, this is a sentence. How? Because it expresses its complete sense. This is a group of words. Rahul likes maths. Rahul likes mathematics. Okay, so this group of words is called a sentence. Why? Beginning with a capital letter, ending with full stop, and it expresses its own complete sense with a subject and predicate. And what is subject? Rahul. And likes maths or mathematics, this is a predicate. So we can say, dear students, this is a sentence. Look here, don't be confused. This is a sentence because independently it is standing all alone by itself, having a proper complete sense, right? Second group of words is Rohan likes English. Rohan likes English. Look, Rohan, subject, likes English, predicate. So we can say this group of words, Rohan likes English, is also a sentence, right? Because it is also independent. So this meaningful group of words is also a sentence. But the story doesn't come to an end here. Something more. What? Rahul likes maths, Rohan likes English. And we have been given a task to join them. Rahul likes maths and Rohan likes English. Join them and make one. So what? Rahul likes maths, but Rohan likes English. So now this whole group of words beginning with Rahul, ending with English. Rahul likes maths, but Rohan likes English. So this whole group of words is known as a sentence. Now it has become a sentence. And earlier Rahul likes English was a sentence, but now in this sentence Rahul likes maths, but Rohan likes English. In this sentence, this part Rahul likes maths has become a clause, right? Look here, let me explain it. Rahul likes maths, right? But Rohan likes English. Okay, so this is group of words. This whole group of words is known as a sentence, right? If we write only this much, so this is a sentence. Rahul likes maths, this is independent, and Rohan likes English, this is also independent, so they both are sentences. But when we join these two sentences and we make them one using a conjunction, and which conjunction? Coordinating conjunction, right? With the help of coordinating conjunction, if we join them together, they make a sentence and they themselves become clauses. Now, clause number 1, clause number 2, because they are the part of a sentence. So, clause, coordinating conjunction and clause. So, this is a sentence now. So, students, we can say in short that whenever, and this is an independent clause, right, students? We can say main clause plus coordinating conjunction plus main clause is equal to compound sentence. Have you got it? Main clause plus coordinating conjunction. This CC stands for coordinating conjunction. Do you still remember when I taught fanboys, FANBOYS, right? So they were coordinating conjunctions, right? So whenever coordinating conjunction has been used to join two main clauses, this is known as a compound sentence. Have you got it? Right? So look here. There are two kinds of, basically there are two kinds of clauses. One is independent clause, you may call it main clause, or you may call it a principal clause. What are they? As we have used main clause, look here, this is known as main clause, this is known as independent clause, this is known as principal clause. Likewise, this part, Rohan likes English, this is independent, this is main, this is principal clause, right students? Why? Because look here, main clause, principal clause, independent clause expresses a complete thought like a sentence. What I told you earlier, this group of words was an independent sentence. This group of words was earlier a group of, this group of words was just like an independent sentence, right? So we can say these two are main clauses or independent clauses or principal clauses, and when they are joined together using a coordinating conjunction, they make a compound sentence. Make it clear, write it somewhere, this is very important, right? So next is dependent clause. Obviously one is independent, so another one is dependent, right? Dependent clause or subordinate clause. What is this? Obviously the meaning expresses itself. Independent clause cannot stand alone. Yes, they can, but these clauses, subordinate clauses or dependent clauses, cannot stand alone despite having a subject and a predicate. No problem, they do have a subject and a predicate, but still they cannot stand alone because they cannot express the complete meaning of their own, right? So we can say they are independent clauses, or they are dependent clauses, or we may say they are subordinate clauses, right students? So they do not express a complete thought. Got it students? So look here, this I am deleting. Have you noted it somewhere? Okay students, so now some examples are there on the screen, so have a look. When I get home, the lights are not on. This is a complete group of words and we can call it a sentence, right? So in this sentence, how many clauses do you find, right? When I get home, this is a clause, right? The lights are not on, right? This is not. So we can say the when I get home and the lights are not on. So look here, what is this? This is clause number 1, and when I get home, is it complete? Of course not. So we may call it subordinate clause or dependent clause, right? The lights are not on. Suppose I say only the lights are not on. Somebody asked me, lights are on? Yes. No, the lights are not on, or the lights are on. So that is complete. So we may say the lights are not on. We may say this is a main clause, right? When I get home, the lights are not on. So this is the combination of one is subordinate clause and one is main clause, right? Next, when you wake up, this is not complete. So we may say this is subordinate clause and put it on the shelf. Suppose I speak only, yes, put it on the shelf, put the books on the shelf, right? So this is complete. So we may say this is the main clause, right students? Subordinate clause, main clause, subordinate clause, main clause, right? Next is she was born in India. Is it complete? Of course, this is complete in itself. She was born in India. So we may say main clause, and here her mother is from China. This is also complete. So dear students, but is a coordinating conjunction, right? So what is the formula, students? Main clause plus coordinating conjunction plus main clause is equal to a compound sentence. But whenever a sentence has got one subordinate clause and one main clause and the conjunction is subordinating conjunction, here coordinating conjunction, in a complex sentence, one is main clause, one is subordinate clause, and the conjunction is subordinating conjunction. So as a formula, what we can say, subordinating clause or dependent clause plus subordinating conjunction plus main clause is equal to complex sentence. Okay students, so very important thing I have just given to you. Suppose anybody asks you what is a complex sentence, what is a compound sentence, so very easily you can say in a compound sentence both the clauses are main clause and the conjunction between them is coordinating conjunction. But in the complex sentence, one is subordinate clause and one is main clause, means one is dependent clause, one is independent clause, and the connector between them, conjunction between them is subordinating conjunction. So we can say such kind of sentence will be known as a complex sentence. Have you got it? So these were very simple examples to make the difference between phrase and a clause. Students, now we are going to learn about subordinate clauses, means the kinds of subordinate clause, right? So the very first kind of subordinate clause is conditional clause. You know, in conditional sentences, the part having condition, the part comprising the condition is known as conditional clause, and generally conditional clauses begin with if, unless, so long as long as, until, right? Unless and until are negative adverbials, right? So we can say conditional clauses. For example, if the plane is on time, I will be home by tomorrow, right? So we can say, if I say if the plane is on time, is it complete? No, but it has got subject, it has got predicate, is on time predicate, but it does not complete its own sense. So we can say this is a conditional clause. I will be home by tomorrow. This is a main clause and this is a subordinate clause. And which kind of subordinate clause? We may say that this is a conditional subordinate clause, right? So dear students, mind it, all conditional clauses are subordinate clauses, right? and this is main clause. So subordinate clause plus conditional clause. Okay, next example, next kind, relative clause means all in the sentences whenever a clause functions like an adjective, right? And such kind of clauses begin with that, whom, where, when, who, etc. Or in other words, we can say whenever any clause happens to begin with relative pronouns. You know relative pronouns? So such kind of clauses are known as relative clauses. You can see here, I saw her first in London, where I lived in the 80s. Okay, so I saw her first in London. This is complete in itself. Where I lived in the 80s. So this is a relative pronoun, and this part of the sentence begins with where in itself, where I lived in the 80s. This is not complete. So we can say this is a subordinate clause, and this is the main clause. I saw her in London. So main clause plus subordinate clause. Got it? Next one, noun clause. Generally this clause functions like a noun. Have an example. Shikha asked me where I was going the next day, right? So Shikha asked me, this is main clause, and where I was going the next day. This is not where was I, this is where I was going the next day. This is subordinate clause. What kind of subordinate clause? Of course, this is functioning like noun. So we can say this is a noun subordinate clause functioning like a noun, right? And this is the main clause. Okay, students?